Lewis.
Thank you for joining us on the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show. My name is Vincent Lewis and I am your host. You can check us out at treatmentradio.com. That's treatmentradio.com. Voices of Treatment and Recovery is an extension of A Way Out USA, a Christ-centered recovery ministry. Please check us out on Facebook as well. If you go to the website at treatmentradio.com, look at the bottom of the page and check the little Facebook link and join us in our group. All right. Great. So welcome, everyone. This is our inaugural show, and I want to tell you a little bit about Voices of Treatment and Recovery. The mission of Voices in Treatment and Recovery is to glorify God by helping individuals and families struggling with the disease of addiction, one show at a time. Today, in keeping with that mission, we have Mr. Harold Connell as our guest. This is an incredible guy. I want you to kind of listen to this guy's resume, man. It's amazing. Harold, I've been knowing Harold for, a few years now, Harold? I met Harold in the rooms, and he is a very, very talented brother. He's worked in treatment for a number of years. He is the owner and CEO of Connell Health Systems. He had a lot of experience with setting up drug treatment facilities. He helped Envision Hope in Dallas, Texas, develop 100 treatment centers across the nation. That's amazing. We got to talk about that. He helped Serenity Recovery Centers set up insurance and billing systems. He helped a program called The Next Door in Nashville, Tennessee, add 7 new commercial contracts to their treatment facility. He's even helped HealthQuest in Cordova, Tennessee, develop a Suboxone IOP billing and marketing system, and an amazing program down in Florida called the Florida House in Boca Raton, Florida. He was Chief Marketing Officer and Chief Operation Officer, where he helped establish the multi-million-dollar treatment center down in Florida. He's also worked right here in Memphis, Tennessee for Foundations Recovery Networks, not only in Memphis, but in Nashville and Malibu, California, where he was marketing and COO manager. He also worked in New Life Lodge as the director of marketing. An amazing guy. We're going to get to Harold in just a moment. I want you to kind of bear with us. I want to talk to you a little bit about our featured band. Harold, we have Unspoken on tap today. It's a recovery band. They have incredible music, and we want to share this band with you to inspire you and to encourage you if you're suffering from the disease of addiction. If you and your family are going through with people that need to find recovery, music is a great way to start finding inspiration. And Mike Gomez, the guitarist of Unspoken, says it like this: people just relate better to someone who has been broken and redeemed than to someone who pretends to have it all together. What we say from the stage and what we say in our songs, they are not stories of someone we heard about. They're songs written about places we've been and places we are. Honesty, brokenness, and redemption. So, without further ado, here's our featured band, Unspoken.
There was a light that found me in darkness, failing and hopeless, barely alive. And for the first time, I saw your perfection in my reflection, there in your eyes. My feet are on the ground, my heart is beating now. Your love has shown me how to live. You're my recovery, changing who I was to who I'm meant to be, healing all that's broken as you wash me clean. Oh, you set me free. You're my recovery. This is the day that I'm starting over. I'm taking it slower, one step at a time, and narrow the way. But you're here to guide me. Your spirit's inside me, and it's changing my mind. My feet are on the ground, my heart is beating now. Your love has shown me how to live. You're my recovery, changing who I was to who I'm meant to be. Healing all that's broken as you wash me clean. Oh, you set me free. You're my...
It's time for the Voices of Treatment and Recovery show on KWA.
Clear eyes, now I can see your truth in front of me. I am and always will be loved. My feet are on the ground, my heart is beating now. Your love has shown me how to live. You're my recovery, changing who I was to who I'm meant to be. Who I'm meant to be. Healing all that's broken as you wash me clean. Oh, you set me free. You're my recovery. You're my recovery. You're my recovery.
All right. That was Unspoken. Welcome back. For those that's just tuning in today, this is Voices of Treatment and Recovery Radio. I am Vincent Lewis, and I am your host. Please check us out at treatmentradio.com and check us out on Facebook as well. I guess we should start today by defining exactly what addiction is. Now, according to the American Society of Addiction Medicine, addiction is defined as such. Addiction is a primary chronic disease of brain reward, motivation, memory, and related circuitry. Dysfunction in these circuits leads to characteristics, biological, psychological, social, and spiritual manifestations. This is reflected in an individual pathology pursuing reward and relief by substance and use of other behaviors. Addiction is characterized by the inability to consistently abstain, impairment, and in behavior control, craving, diminished recognition of significant problems in one's behavior and interpersonal relationships, and dysfunctional emotional responses. Like other chronic diseases, addiction often involves cycles of relapse, remission, and without treatment or engagement in recovery activities, addiction is progressive and can result in disability or premature death. Now, here are the numbers. Let's talk about addiction in America. Drug use is on the rise in this country. Over 23.5 million Americans are addicted to alcohol and other drugs. That's approximately 1 in every 10 Americans over the age of 12, roughly equal to the entire population of the state of Texas. But only 11% of those people with an addiction receive treatment. It is a staggering and unacceptable amount of people in America that are living with untreated chronic disease called addiction. Now, that's according to drugfree.org. Let's take a look at what's going on, Brother Harold, in each state. If you live where we live here in the state of Tennessee, the major problem is pills. You know, there's an enormous amount of prescription drugs being abused in America. So let's take a look at the numbers. Now, in fact, if you live in the state of Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Delaware, Maine, Michigan, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Tennessee, and West Virginia, pills are your major problem. You know there's 1,000 people being admitted to emergency rooms every single day for abusing drugs, especially the pills. Now, also, if we take a look at the heroin situation. These are the states, if you're out there listening and you're in one of these states, heroin is your major problem. Alaska, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Georgia, Maryland, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, especially New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, Utah, Vermont, Washington, and I can go on and on. So let's talk about this, Harold. Tell me a little bit about where you are in terms of the people you work with.
Well, first, Vincent, I'd like to thank you for having me on the show. I think this is just tremendous. It's so much needed within our community and on the national level. We're in a severe epidemic. You know, you can do research, you can look at numbers, but I'm pretty much in it on a daily basis. A lot of times, I'll get a call from a family member, a mother or a grandmother, you know, someone that's got a family member that's suffering. And, you know, it puts me back on the firing line every day to remember where I came from. You know, I was fortunate enough to come to Memphis 17 years ago to go into a long-term treatment center called Synergy.
Okay.
And it was life-changing. I had been in several treatment centers prior to that. Length of stay, time, was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
How long was that? How long did you stay there?
I was there a full year.
Wow.
I came from Northwest Tennessee. And through that process, you know, I always wanted to get in the field of recovery, and I didn't have any ideas of how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
My background had been in sales and marketing. Fortunate enough to go to work for Foundations Recovery Network back in 04 and 05. And through that process, we were at the time a 501c3 block grant state funded facility.
Explain to our listeners a little bit about what that is, 501c3.
Well, it's basically a non-for-profit.
Okay.
You've got several facilities here across the state of Tennessee, and they can and apply for particular grants that come down through federal dollars into the state, and it is distributed throughout the state. So,
okay.
You know, I was fortunate enough to learn all the facets of within the industry. We took that particular company from a nonprofit to a for-profit.
Mm-hmm.
A very large company today. So, you know, it's all about access. There's a window of opportunity when someone is ready for help and reaches out for help.
Okay, so in your personal situation, however, you came to treatment for a year. What led you here? What happened to you?
Well, it's, you know, it starts off, it sounds very sad, and it was a sad situation. Number one, you know, I didn't ask to become or be an alcoholic. You know, but it occurred with me, and once it did, it had a grip on me. So long story short, Vincent, I basically lost a marriage, home, was looking at jail time, had a judge that showed me some compassion, knew that I was a sick individual, allowed me to come to Memphis for that year. I basically came to Memphis with a suitcase of clothes and 2 pairs of shoes.
Wow.
And at the time, I was 40-year-old and basically started my life all over. So I know that it works. I believe in hope. You know, that's what we're selling is hope.
Wonderful. Hey, let's talk about that hope when we come back from the break, Harold. Thank you.
Great.
Does your loved one need a little extra care, but not a nursing home? Then Jones Care Homes is for them. They offer home setting for seniors. Residents enjoy similar amenities to assisted living communities with limited medical care in a social environment. Residents are also provided with room and board, as well as assistance with personal needs. They have fully furnished private rooms with cable and high-speed internet access. There is a large fenced-in backyard with an array of flowers and covered seating for them to enjoy fresh air. Jones Care Homes is located in beautiful Collierville in a safe neighborhood that is also very peaceful. Contact Jones Care Homes today for information about their private homes for the aged. Call 901-480-3620 and ask for Dorothy. That's 901-480-3620 or visit jonescarehomes.com.
Seacrest Recovery Center is a unique addiction treatment program that offers affordable outpatient and intensive outpatient services. Their founder really knows how you feel because he himself is in a long-term recovery and has found a passion in delivering the best treatment to those seeking freedom from their own addictions. At Seacrest Recovery Center, you can rest assured that your loved one will be provided top-notch care from their qualified team of professionals. Seacrest Recovery Center is located in South Florida and utilizes both traditional and holistic therapies in their comprehensive approach to treating your loved one. This is not a cookie-cutter approach. You'll receive a treatment plan that is customized solely for your issues and specific situation. The decision is now. Seacrest Recovery Center. Visit them today at seacrestrecoverycenter.com.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Connell Health Services is a local Tennessee resource for substance abuse and addiction. Harold Connell had a vision of what he believed needed to be developed in the healthcare industry for substance abuse. Connell Health Services is a safe and acute setting within a hospital with professionals having a history of treating individuals suffering from a seemingly hopeless disease. This is dear to Harold's heart because he has suffered from this hopelessness disease and encourage individuals to take the first step and seek help. Start a new way of life today and visit behavioralhealthforyou.com.
You've been listening to the Voices of Treatment and Recovery with your host, Vincent Lewis.
All right. We're back with Harold Connolly here on the Voices of Treatment and Recovery Radio. Harold, we're talking about hope right now. We're talking about you getting the treatment and hitting rock bottom. Go ahead and tell us a little more about that.
Well, Vincent, I don't think any of us in the beginning, as a young teenager, there was a lot of fun, I enjoyed myself and grew up in the disco era. And, there was just a lot of drinking, but I knew early on that there was a problem. I just had no idea that it was going to lead me down the path that it did. I don't think anybody does, or we would have stopped, if we could have just stopped. I couldn't stop once I would start. So, the trials that go along with it and the tribulations, it wasn't on my bucket list to grow up and be an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask for it. There was a lot of pain, a lot of suffering involved in it. Hurt a lot of people. I finally got to the point that I was tired of hurting people. and I knew help was available. I'd been in treatment centers before. I'd had good therapy. It all came down in the end that I had nothing left but my life. There had been a couple of attempts of suicide that I couldn't go through with.
What drove you to that? I mean, and suicide is an extreme measure, but all addicts get to that point. How did you get there personally?
Well, when drinking and drugging becomes a full-time job. I mean, when you really think about it, the amount of time that we put into this, and I was just drinking around the clock. I could get a little bit of time under my belt, and then I would go back to it. I've got a disease that basically tells me that I don't have it, and it's going to be different this time. I can assure the listeners, if you've got family members or loved ones that are suffering from this disease, they don't want it, but a lot of times they don't know what to do.
So let's stop right there for a moment and talk about that. Let's talk about this idea of disease. We talk about disease. We've said that ASAM, the American Society of Addictive Medicine, described it as a disease, but a lot of people believe it's a choice. It's some kind of social choice, and people take themselves down that road. What do you say about that?
Well, I mean, and that's sad. That's basically the mentality across the world, is that, old Harold's a good guy. Why does he do this? Why would he act out this way? Is this a moral issue? Is this some type of character? No, it is a disease. Disease is what causes you to have dis-ease. And with an alcoholic, they talk about that when we become irritable, discontent, once we have started using the alcohol or drugs, it seems like it's the fix-all. Whether it's a great day, let's celebrate. If it's a bad day, let's drink. It was the only thing I knew to go to until it turned its back on me. And when it did, it spanked me pretty good. Consequences a lot of times start to occur. People go to jail, they get DUIs. There are a lot of other diseases out there that folks don't go to jail because they have them. This is this disease does not discriminate of race, creed, color, religion. I didn't ask for it, but I do have it. And then it was kind of up to me on what are you going to do about it.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine about this whole idea of we have this opioid crisis in America right now. And it's basically attacking rural America, white America for the most part, right? And he said, well, look, we didn't have this uproar when crack was attacking inner cities. Why didn't everyone talk about an American crisis during that time? And I told him, I said, look, addiction doesn't discriminate. People discriminate, but addiction doesn't care whether you're rich, you're poor, you're black, you're white. The book tells us the ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death.
Well, and so many of us go to those links. The sad part with the opioid and specifically the heroin to a degree is that during this show, while we're here for this 1 hour, there will be 12 to 15 people that are going to die from drug overdose. And the sad part, Vincent, is that 15 died the hour before we got here, and 15 more are going to die the hour after we leave. We're losing 20 to 22 veterans a day from suicide. Now, why is that? I mean, what's really going on is what people, that's what they're asking.
Is it the drug? Is it the alcohol? Let's clarify this as well. We talk about alcohol, but, and a lot of times people that drink don't think they're like those drug addicts. But tell us a little bit about the difference between alcohol and other drug addicts.
Well, a lot of misconception. Alcohol is a drug. And I use this illustration a lot. I love to watch Westerns. I like those old John Wayne movies, But, you take a cowboy, gets shot. you've never seen a Western where they say, hey, get him a Lortab, get him a hydrocodone, let's put a morphine patch on. They give him a drink of whiskey. So, alcohol is a drug, and it's been around since man first learned how to crush grapes. The problem with it is that people don't see it that way. It starts off most of the time as a social event, and today of all days, there'll be a lot of people that won't make it to work tomorrow.
Absolutely, this is Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Due to the Super Bowl.
Man.
So, and I was one of those statistics. By the grace of God, January the 4th, I celebrated 17 years without a drink or a drug, and for a guy like
brother.
me, that is a miracle.
Absolutely. And so, a lot of people don't know that alcohol, perfectly legal, kills more people than probably all the other drugs combined, because it's a legal drug, and it's a difficult detox, isn't it? Getting off alcohol.
It is. I have gone into severe withdrawal, and it's something that you don't want to experience once you have. And first time that it was really bad for me, I was 21 years old. So the disease in itself is progressive, and I think this is going back to your question earlier. What leads someone to the point of final surrender?
Right.
And mine was pain. The progression of the disease is someone will maybe stop for 6 months, a year, and it's just a sad state. They think that they can come back and it's going to be different, and it's always worse. It's never better. I've been around recovery for years, and I've never seen anybody go out and relapse and come back and tell me that it got better while they were out there. The sad part of it is we see a lot of people come in, and you never know when you're going to see them, or
they
if
may not
you're
make it
going to
back.
see them.
Absolutely.
We've had a lot of death, and I live in South Haven, and we've had probably 4 deaths in the last 6 weeks, all of them under the age of 26 years old.
My God.
And it's a direct result of opioids.
Opioids, absolutely. So when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about that a little bit, because President Trump said that we have a national emergency, but he stopped short of declaring it. How important is it for the president to declare this opioid crisis as a national emergency?
It's vital. It's vital. We can't continue on the path that we're on currently. It's the destruction of it. So, I don't have the exact answer to that, but there needs to be other resources available for that individual. And the other part, Vincent, is, when we were young and growing up, everybody had an uncle or somebody in the family that was basically an alcoholic. Today, every family across this nation has, they've seen it firsthand with either a child, a sibling, their mother. We're treating a lot of what's called non-traditional addicts, where 60 and 70-year-old people have knee replacement, hip replacements, and, they're placed on pain medication.
They got to have it.
And they're going to get it. They go from not being able to get a prescription where the doctor has cut them off, and they're on the streets buying it. They'll have a relative or a friend or somebody. So it's a wicked in its nature. And we've already talked about the numbers that it's killing, and I don't foresee that number just going down quickly.
Here in Tennessee, I think I saw a number like 1,200 deaths from overdosing on these prescription drugs.
I'm sure.
It's really a crisis. We're gonna go to a break here in just a second, Harold. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about treatment options. How do you make a decision how and where to go get help, whether it be a 12-step program or a traditional treatment facility? Okay? Great.
The Connell Health Services is a local Tennessee resource for substance abuse and addiction. Harold Connell had a vision of what he believed needed to be developed in the healthcare industry for substance abuse. Connell Health Services is a safe and acute setting within a hospital with professionals having a history of treating individuals suffering from a seemingly hopeless disease. This is dear to Harold's heart because he has suffered from this hopelessness disease and encourage individuals to take the first step and seek help. Start a new way of life today and visit behavioralhealthforyou.com.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Seacrest Recovery Center is a unique addiction treatment program that offers affordable outpatient and intensive outpatient services. Their founder really knows how you feel because he himself is in a long-term recovery and has found a passion in delivering the best treatment to those seeking freedom from their own addictions. At Seacrest Recovery Center, you can rest assured that your loved one will be provided top-notch care from their qualified team of professionals. Seacrest Recovery Center is located in South Florida and utilizes both traditional and holistic therapies in their comprehensive approach to treating your loved one. This is not a cookie-cutter approach. You'll receive a treatment plan that is customized solely for your issues and specific situation. The decision is now. Seacrest Recovery Center. Visit them today at seacrestrecoverycenter.com.
Does your loved one need a little extra care, but not a nursing home? Then Jones Care Homes is for them. They offer home setting for seniors. Residents enjoy similar amenities to assisted living communities with limited medical care in a social environment. Residents are also provided with room and board, as well as assistance with personal needs. They have fully furnished private rooms with cable and high-speed internet access. There is a large fenced-in backyard with an array of flowers and covered seating for them to enjoy fresh air. Jones Care Homes is located in beautiful Collierville in a safe neighborhood that is also very peaceful. Contact Jones Care Homes today for information about their private homes for the aged. Call 901-480-3620 and ask for Dorothy. That's 901-480-3620 or visit jonescarehomes.com. You've been listening to the Voices of Treatment and Recovery with your host, Vincent Lewis.
All right, welcome back to Voices of Treatment and Recovery. I am your host, Vincent Lewis. Please take a moment and check us out at treatmentradio.com. I'm here with Harold Connell. We're discussing addiction and how to get some help. We're going to talk to Harold a little bit about treatment programs and 12-step programs. Harold, can you kind of share with us did you go to 12-step programs prior to going to treatment, or did that come after treatment for you?
I did prior to. I knew nothing about a 12-step program until I went into a treatment center. And, they encouraged me when I discharged from that facility. I was actually there. The first treatment center was 34 days. And, just you and I talking, I was scared to death to leave that facility.
Why?
Well, I just didn't know that if there was a way, basically a way out. How am I going to go day by day and not drink? I'd been given the tools, good education, good treatment, great therapist, and I came out of that treatment center and I made it 99 days. And it was almost like a voice in my head that said, we're going to stop up here and we're going to have a drink.
Wow.
And, I talked back to the voice and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I've got 99 days. I'm not going to throw that away. And the voice said, yes, you're going to stop. Now, people may think that that's crazy. I really could care less because that's what was going on in my mind. That's how powerful it was.
Let's talk about that right there. This idea of something being more powerful than you. In the 12-step, tell us a little bit about what a 12-step program is, and let's talk about step one.
Well, the great thing about when I came to Memphis, and I'd probably heard this thousands of times, but the director at Synergy told me, he said, Harold, he said, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I thought, well, how elementary, what a statement to make to a 40-year-old guy. The deal is nothing had ever changed within me. I had not totally surrendered. And when I talk about surrender, that's basically finding and developing a power that's greater than me that can do this. I couldn't do it on my own. I tried to quit over and over and over.
And that's essentially step one, right?
You gotta, yes.
Step one says
that we have to admit that we're powerless
over our addiction.
Absolutely, whatever your addiction.
And our lives had become unmanageable.
Right. And what I came to find out is that my life had been unmanageable even before I ever drank. It gets a whole lot more unmanageable when you're drinking or when you're drugging. And it actually becomes, it becomes your God. I mean, it rules. I tell a lot of people, evidently you love your disease, your drinking, your drugging, more than you do your parents, your spouses, your children. And they look at me kind of crazy at first, and then it starts to make sense to them.
It's a kind of idolatry, isn't it?
Right. Because it rules. It's going to come first. I get to talk to people that, if their electric bill is due and they're $10 short, they just say, well, I'll catch it next week because I really need this money for my alcohol or my drugs. So we can justify, rationalize anything we want to in our minds when the disease is in the lead. Therefore, I needed something more powerful than me. My higher power is God.
Absolutely.
And we're in recovery is worldwide. So if someone is at that point, and they don't know what to do, they don't know what to do next, the family doesn't know what to do, seek help, seek a professional, seek someone that can assist in this. You see a lot about intervention and an interventionist, and reach out and touch someone that firsthand understands this disease, and then get clear-cut direction on how to address it. The other thing is that I'm very specific about individualized treatment. There are a lot of treatment centers that are what I call cookie cutters.
Right.
And I even think that's on one of the ads that I heard earlier. You want a facility that's going to address exactly what's going on with you. You and I are we're two totally different people.
Absolutely.
My childhood maybe something maybe have occurred in mine.
So we need our treatment protocol customized to us.
Right.
I think that was my friend Nick Spinelli down in Boca Raton. Not Boca Raton.
West Palm.
West Palm, yeah, with Seacrest. An incredible guy, incredible treatment center down there. They customize your treatment for you. Hopefully I'll have him on the show one day as well. But let's talk about this idea of powerless a little more. To the normal person, or to the so-called normal person, this idea of being powerless over something that has so much control over you that you would betray family, you would betray friends, you would betray even your God to have. What does it take? What does it take to overcome something like that? How do you overcome something?
Well, Vincent, you know, the treatment centers that I had been in had given me, like I said earlier, they'd given me the tools, and they kept telling me, you know, you got to find this power greater than yourself.
Okay.
Because you're powerless. So when we go to try to relate to someone that's not suffering from this disease, you know, I would ask them to, you know, what are you personally powerless over? Well, there are a lot of things that I can't change the weather. I mean, you know, if I could, I would, if I needed to. Best thing I can do is accept it. What I had to do is accept that I've got this disease. Now, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to address it? How am I going to go? You know, and I cannot, never will I take the credit for my sobriety because I tried it for 40 years. I tried to fix myself. And I think that a lot of individuals get in that mode is that, you know, I'm not powerless over anything.
Absolutely.
I can fix this. I can solve this problem. And that's what I used to tell my family members, you know, just leave me alone. I got this.
This idea of surrendering, you know, I was told I had to surrender. And initially I thought, man, I don't want to surrender to anything. You know, I'm a strong guy. Why surrender? We had been surrendering to the drug and surrendering to the alcohol. So what we had to do was surrender to God. And that's the idea of finding this new power, right?
Absolutely. And you know, when this occurred with me, you know, I thought I was I'm not going to say I thought I was a big bad dude, but you know, I was, I could take care of myself. So when you're in a situation with 75 other grown men and you're rooming with 3 other men, I can tell you that I crawled out of that bed as a humble man, driven by pain, got on my knees, and I basically begged this God that I've never seen. I've never heard his voice. He's never sent me a text or an email.
Right.
But I knew he was real. And I begged him, you know, to help me, that I couldn't do this. And I tell people, it got different immediately. I didn't say it got great and better. It got different. And then it got better. And today, you know, the last 17 years of my life, I've been able to not only work in this field, but the happiest years of my life, because I'm not carrying around that ball and chain.
So this curse, this addiction, this affliction has actually become a blessing.
Right. And, you know, even in Scripture, I think Paul talks about that, you know, what he believed to be his biggest weakness turned out to be his greatest blessing. And that's the way I was, because I can tell you 17 years ago, I could see no light at the end of the tunnel. There was, I thought my life was over. I've been fortunate to be involved in this field, to help establish treatment facilities, help set up detox centers. Currently, we're developing medical stabilization within hospitals, which is, to me, the safest form of medical stabilization.
So where are your medical stabilization programs?
Currently, we have one in Ripley, Tennessee, Northwest Tennessee.
It's in a hospital?
It is in Lauderdale Community Hospital. And we did that selectively due to the fact that, you know, you can always see treatment centers in Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville. But what about the folks in rural America? They claim today that your old bootleggers, your old moonshiners, their grandchildren are now the meth manufacturers, you know, and the leading sales of drugs.
Okay. So if someone listening to the program today has a loved one that needs detox, and they said, hey, I like that guy Harold, and I'd love to go to his detox facility, how would they connect with you?
Well, the first thing they could do is just Google Lauderdale Community Hospital, and we've actually got a page dedicated to the medical stabilization unit. When we come back from break, I'll give a number that we can reach out to for an intake coordinator there.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Everyone, if you're just tuning in, this is Vincent Lewis, and you're listening to Voices of Treatment and Recovery Radio. I'm here with Harold Connell, and we are talking about how to get help for addiction. Let's talk about this a little more after the break. See you then.
Seacrest Recovery Center is a unique addiction treatment program that offers affordable outpatient and intensive outpatient services. Their founder really knows how you feel because he himself is in a long-term recovery and has found a passion in delivering the best treatment to those seeking freedom from their own addictions. At Seacrest Recovery Center, you can rest assured that your loved one will be provided top-notch care from their qualified team of professionals. Seacrest Recovery Center is located in South Florida and utilizes both traditional and holistic therapies in their comprehensive approach to treating your loved one. This is not a cookie-cutter approach. You'll receive a treatment plan that is customized solely for your issues and specific situation. The decision is now. Seacrest Recovery Center. Visit them today at seacrestrecoverycenter.com.
Does your loved one need a little extra care, but not a nursing home? Then Jones Care Homes is for them. They offer home setting for seniors. Residents enjoy similar amenities to assisted living communities with limited medical care in a social environment. Residents are also provided with room and board, as well as assistance with personal needs. They have fully furnished private rooms with cable and high-speed internet access. There is a large fenced-in backyard with an array of flowers and covered seating for them to enjoy fresh air. Jones Care Homes is located in beautiful Collierville in a safe neighborhood that is also very peaceful. Contact Jones Care Homes today. For information about their private homes for the aged, call 901-480-3620 and ask for Dorothy. That's 901-480-3620 or visit jonescarehomes.com.
The Connell Health Services is a local Tennessee resource for substance abuse and addiction. Harold Connell had a vision of what he believed needed to be developed in the healthcare industry for substance abuse. Connell Health Services is a safe and acute setting within a hospital with professionals having a history of treating individuals suffering from a seemingly hopeless disease. This is dear to Harold's heart because he has suffered from this hopelessness disease and encourage individuals to take the first step and seek help. Start a new way of life today and visit behavioralhealthforyou.com.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You've been listening to the Voices of Treatment and Recovery with your host, Vincent Lewis.
Okay, welcome back to Voices of Treatment and Recovery. I'm Vincent Lewis, and I'm your host. I'm here with Brother Harold Connell. We're talking about treatment options for addiction. Harold, you were just about to share with us some information about your facility.
Yes, Vincent. If someone is suffering and they want to do something different, regardless of what the motivation is, if it's pain, if they, they're most of the time someone is forced into making this decision. So ideally, what we've done at Lauderdale Community Hospital is set up a medical stabilization, and within that, we stabilize that individual from whatever they may be addicted to. And during that process, we want to start a program for them, full continuum of care. So ideally, we've set some high goals that we want somewhere over 90% of the people that we bring into the hospital. This is a service like any hospital. We've just put special protocols behind it. we want them to go on to further their treatment.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we want to get them stable. They may go to Journey Pure. They may go to Foundations Recovery Network.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do is help assist them through case management to line a facility up that's going to best meet their needs.
Okay.
So if someone, you might want to write this number down. It's a direct number to the hospital there in Ripley, Tennessee. It's a 731 area code, 221-2200, 2200. You're going to get a young lady by the name of Lori that's going to answer that phone, and she's going to direct and discuss all the options available. The hospital takes Medicare, Medicaid, and any commercial insurance. My role in that is I am a managing consultant to that hospital because through my own experiences, I gained some knowledge of what I believe to be the safest possible way for someone to come off of whatever particular substance they're on. I'd much rather do that in a hospital in case something were to go wrong. So, we're excited about that. I think that as a whole, again, I applaud your show.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being on.
It is such a need. And, I think that there will be great success, lives changed, people touched from your efforts.
Thank you, Harold. And you have a standing invitation to come back anytime. I'd like for you to, before we let you go, if there are people that are listening to us that have family members or themselves struggling with addiction, but more so family members that have seen people go to treatment time and time again. They go, they get out, they get high again, or they get drunk again, and they're about to give up hope. What do you say to those folks?
Never give up. Never give up. The insanity that we witness, I can only imagine what I actually put my family through. The deal is when we start giving up, I think that bleeds. I think that negativity bleeds. I think when we start, well, let me say it like this. People don't ask for cancer. People don't ask for diabetes. People don't ask for any type of disease. I didn't ask for this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, out of all that are out there, I'd rather have what I've got because I can treat it on a daily basis. I've got a daily reprieve, just like anyone else that's suffering from what I have to make a decision on a daily basis on what are you going to do, Harold? Do you want to go back to running the show, or do you want to let God run it?
Let God run it. Absolutely.
So
I have found that our purpose is often found in our greatest weakness.
Absolutely.
Our greatest weakness. And we can take that weakness and turn it into something beautiful. That's what God does. I have a poem that is often spoken in the rooms of recovery by Mr. William Blake I'd like to share with our listeners. And it goes a little something like this. I sought my soul, but my soul I could not see. I sought my God, but my God eluded me. I sought my brother, and I found all three. That's recovery, man.
Amen.
We need each other. We need each other. If you have a family member that's suffering from addiction, or if you yourself are suffering from addiction, you have to find a fellowship. A fellowship. The 12-step programs are simply a design for living. It's a design for living that works. And that design comes from the original design, from the Holy Bible, from God's Word. And join a church. Find a pastor that understands addiction, that can help you through. That's a design for living as well. We need each other. If you find yourself, if you find God, if you find your brother, you will find recovery. I want to invite everyone to go to our webpage, treatmentradio.com, our website. Join our group. We have a Christ-centered recovery group called A Way Out. All you have to do is click on the Facebook link. And all of you guys that have been listening to this program, enjoying this program, please take a moment to visit our sponsors, Connell Behavioral Health Systems, Jones Care Homes, Seacrest down in Florida, and my friend Nick Spinelli. All of these people support this program, and we'd like for you to go to their websites and take a look at what they're doing and support them. And give me a shout out. Please join our group. Send me a message on Facebook. If you need help and we can help you in any way, find treatment, find a 12-step program, or if you just need someone to talk to, that's what we're here for. And we're going to be here every week. We're going to be here every week on Sundays at 9 a.m. here on The Voice, AM 990 and 107.9 FM. It's a great radio station that has brought you this program and allowed us to come here and do this incredible work. Please check them out as well on the internet. Listen, we're going to give you a song right now by our featured band. We want you to listen to it, and we'll come back and we'll wrap up. The song is called Broken by Unspoken.
Everybody's broken.
Or broke.
I'm both. That's a really bad place to be. But I've been sober almost 10 years, and I'm thankful for that. I met Mike on a missions trip. I met Mike Gomez here on a missions trip to the Dominican Republic, and never been on a missions trip before, and hope to go back on one day. But called up these missionaries and said, I got to get the heck out of Dodge. Can I come and hang out with you? And they said, sure. So I went down for 2 months to the Dominican Republic, and I read my Bible, and I prayed every day, and God changed my life and delivered me from drug addiction, and planted my feet on the solid rock. You never know what God's going to do when you come. You lay your life at his feet. But he takes all the broken people and makes something good. But here we go. I've heard it said, yeah, that music heals the soul. I have sung 1,000 songs and they never made me whole, until I joined the holy chorus that it started long ago. And though it carried me a while, still so many miles to go. So help this broken man when the road is long. Write in me a melody so I can sing redemption songs. 'Cause when push comes to shove, it'll never be enough to make it on my own. No, help this broken man's soul. Help this broken man's soul. Now I've sung these words, yes I have, so many times before, and I never felt anything now, and I wanted something more. And then it came like rushing waters to these old and dry and dusty bones. Your life-giving words picked me up and took me home. Yeah. So help this broken man when the road is long. I know you know it's long, yeah. Write in me a melody so I can sing redemption.
All right. Thank you for joining us on Voices of Treatment and Recovery Radio. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next week. We stumbled through this, our first show. Thank you for joining us. Give me a shout out on Facebook. Let me know what you thought about the show. And try to join us next week. We're going to have Reverend Jeffrey Haynes, a recovering pastor with a lot of experience, on the next show next week at 9 a.m. Join us. Thank you for all of our sponsors. Thank you to Brother Harold Connell for joining us and sharing his experience, strength, and hope, and his incredible story. We'll see you next week. I'm Vincent Lewis. Join us on treatmentradio.com and on Facebook. God bless.
The dawn is breaking and I can hear your whisper on the breeze. The world is waking, and I am here to meet you on my knees.
KWAM, your news and information station with CBS News updates every hour on the hour. KWAM Memphis. The following program is a